Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a Christmas in July video. Whether you are watching this now in July or sometime over the summer, or maybe you're saving it and coming across to this closer to the Christmas season, I hope that you enjoy this. Whether you're getting ready for craft fairs, getting a head start on Christmas gifts, or maybe you just really love Christmas and want to just get into it, I hope that you enjoy this collection of DIY Christmas ornaments on a budget using Dollar Tree and other budget-friendly items. I hope you enjoy this. Let's get started. So for this first one, I've got these baby socks. I did pick these up from the Dollar Tree in a 2-pack. And these styrofoam balls, also from Dollar Tree. So we are going to take the large styrofoam ball and stuff this down to the toe of the sock, and then we're going to put the next size on top of that. I thought this was super, super cute, and it really is easy to do. I wanted to have a string from the top of the head, so before I tie up the sock, I just cut it. I'm a little tired. It's early when I'm doing this voiceover. I cut a piece of this green twine, and I just tied a little knot in the end, and I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue, making sure that I have the string facing so that when it hangs, I'll have what I want to be the front of the snowman facing forward. So I hot glued that, and then I'm using these little push pins with a little ball on the end, and I'm just going to pop that in through the little knot to just kind of hold that in, to make it super secure. And then we are going to twist up at the top of the snowman and fold it over for the hat. Now mine was a little bit bigger than maybe it was supposed to be. Maybe it was like a 3 to 6 month old sock. I don't know. But I ended up trimming the end of it, and then I'm just going to hot glue it down because that trimmed away, or that took off the elastic at the end of the sock. So I just hot glued the folded part, and then I did hot glue the hat itself here back down. You may not have to do that with all socks, but it was not a big deal to need to do that. So that is what I am doing here. And then I'm just taking a piece of a white yarn and tying that around the neck of the snowman and trimming off the excess there. If you are new here, welcome. I love to share some budget-friendly DIYs with you. I hope you consider subscribing before you leave. Now we're going to take these push pins with the ball at the end, and I'm going to use a black permanent marker to paint 2 of them. And then I didn't have an orange permanent marker, so I just took some orange acrylic paint and dipped the end in. And I did have to let those dry, so permanent marker would be quicker, but not a big deal. I'm just using what I had. And then I have this fabric that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, but you could use a t-shirt or some other fabric from the Dollar Tree. They have like the bandanas and scarves, whatever. Anyways, I am attaching that, and I just added a little bit of hot glue in a couple places to make sure that the scarf laid down the way I wanted. Like, this material is only one-sided, so I was just kind of mindful of that and hot glued it so that it would lay the right way, and then cut in some fringe, and then we're going to pop in the little eyeballs. I used my scissors to push them down because the ink was still not totally dry. I have a problem with patience when it comes with my DIYs, but I ended up just touching it back up with the marker just a little bit. And then once the nose was dry, we added that in. And that does it for this DIY. Super easy. I know the lighting's not super great, but I wanted to show it to you on the tree. And you could always add a pom-pom or something on top of the hat just to decorate it a little bit more if you wanted to. And this next one, I'm starting out with just a little frame. I did pick this up at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to take everything out of it. I noticed a couple imperfections in it, but it's really not a huge deal. Now for this one, I decided to not paint it because I liked the white. And I was showing this idea, which is mini ornament, but we're going to go with these mini trees instead. And I'm just hot gluing those down. Now you can see they're going to be hanging off the edge a little bit, but it's just fine. Just make sure that you secure it really well and let that hot glue dry. And then I was pulling off the little prong there, and it kind of broke the frame, but it didn't damage it to the point where it couldn't be used. So just a little bit came off in the back. Now we're filling this in with some hot glue just to make sure that that's on really well. This is, guys, this is such a quick and easy one. I'm just going to use some twine to hang this up with, so I'm just hot gluing that on the back of the frame with, yeah, I think I already said it, with some hot glue. And then I'm just using this red raffia that I picked up from Dollar Tree to tie a little bow, but you could, of course, just use ribbon or twine or whatever you wanted, or nothing. and I'm just going to hot glue that on, and that is it for this one. Love, love, love how this came out. And once again, I'm showing it to you on the Christmas tree, so the lighting's not super great, but you get the idea. It's cute. All right, this next one, another super quick and easy. This is a magnetic tin from the Dollar Tree. It comes in a 2-pack in the school supply area, and I'm going to hot glue one of these little trees down. And then I'm painting in some Mod Podge, and we're going to go in with this faux snow from the Dollar Tree and just going to kind of move it all around to cover all of the areas. I ended up going back in and putting Mod Podge on all the way around because I just decided, I don't know why I didn't do that in the beginning. And that's pretty much it. We're going to also do a little bit of decorating on the outside of this, but we're going to hot glue this lid on because obviously you don't want that coming off because any extra snow is going to come out. And I did put a little extra snow in, so it's kind of like a snow globe. And then apparently I wasn't recording, so I took this little shot here. I just took some glitter ribbon and glued it around the edge and used some berry garland, or you could use a ribbon, and I hot glued that on to hang mine up. And this is how it looks up on the tree. So cute, so simple, and you could put almost anything you wanted inside of that, but I love how this one came out. So for this first one, I have this spice jar that I had saved. I love saving jars that I think could be used in something. And we're just going to start by Mod Podging the lid. We're going to paint it, and my understanding is that the paint will adhere often better on metal and if you Mod Podge it first. So we're going to put a coat of Mod Podge, and then once that dries, we're going to put a coat of white paint. I'm using white Waverly chalk paint. I actually end up doing 2 coats of that, and then once it dries, I also do another coat of Mod Podge, but we're going to skip over that. Now, I've got these little trees. These came from the Dollar Tree. They had them in silver and gold and white and green, I think, but Dollar General also had them, and I'm sure Hobby Lobby does as well. And all we're doing is taking some hot glue, and we're going to put this down. Now, I accidentally literally dropped it, but have no fear. I was able to get it placed. And then I'm just using paper to make a funnel, and I'm putting some of that faux snow. I'll show you the bag of it, I think, in another DIY. But from Dollar Tree, you could also just use glitter or Epsom salt. And we're just going to put just enough to kind of coat the bottom. You could also do this reversed where the lid is the bottom for that type of a snow globe. But I love the look of these, and you're going to see I do another one similar. I love the look of these in these jars, and I just think it's super cute. So I have this red and white baker's twine, and I'm just going to wrap that around the top and tie a little bow. You could obviously use anything like twine, ribbon, whatever you want. You could even put an embellishment on the glass if you had something that seemed appropriate for what you were doing. You could put another figurine in there. It doesn't have to be a tree. But I thought this was really cute and simple and would be very cute on a tiered tray or tucked into just along with some other decor. So I love this, and it'd be really cute just for the winter. So for this next one, something similar. These little tiny jars come in a 4-pack, I think, from Dollar Tree. And then I have these mini trees from the Dollar Tree, and here is that faux snow I used in the last one. And this is so quick and simple. I had these jars laying around because I'd used them for another DIY a while back, so I still have a couple of them. So we are just going to put some faux snow at the bottom. You don't need any tools. Well, I do end up using some hot glue, but you don't necessarily need it. I'm making sure it's standing up straight before I push it in, and just pop it down in. And then I just grabbed something to kind of, help it settle down in a little bit more. It took me a little while to find something good here. But the jar is so small that the tree's not going to topple over or anything, so I don't need to hot glue it. I think I ended up using a wooden skewer like a toothpick. And then I did decide to put a little bit of hot glue in the rim before I screwed it on, just because if this is on my tree and it does fall, I mean, obviously it could also break, but I don't want the lid to pop off and snow to go everywhere. So I took some twine, and I'm just using my lighter to burn off all of the fuzzies to just kind of give a cleaner look to it. You don't have to do this. I like doing that. I also like the look that it gives the twine, but it doesn't really matter. And I am just going to wrap it around a couple of times, tie it in a knot, and then we're going to tie a loop so that we can hang this up on the tree. You could also not put any twine on it and also set this on a little tier tray or in a little, I don't know, collection of items to make a a scene. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Assemblage, is that the word? Anyways, you could do it however you want, but I thought it was really cute as a little ornament, and there it is. That's all there was to it. Super quick and simple to do. So I've had this little wooden sleigh or sled rather, from the Dollar Tree for a while, and I wasn't totally sure what I wanted to do with it. And then it came to me. So we're going to cut off the string. I tried to cut it off close to the knot so that I could just use the same string at the end, but you could of course use new twine or whatever. And this did take a little while because this one has so many little openings, but I am going to take my antique wax and I'm going to brush it on and wipe it off with a paper towel, and I'm going to do all of the sides in between every little slat. We're going to do the underside. So do the whole thing. Like I said, it took a little bit of time, but it's not hard. But I just wanted to make sure all of the surfaces had the antique wax. Now while that's drying, we're going to move on to the decorating, and I have these shower curtain rings from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 12-pack. I had plans to do several things with them, but I ended up just doing this one thing this year, and maybe I'll use the rest throughout the year, not just for Christmas, but I'll definitely be using them again next year for Christmas. And I am just using the garland ties from the Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, and I think Walmart also sells them as well. And I'm just hot gluing the end of it to keep it in place, and we're just going to wrap it around. I think I used like 2.5 garland ties, but you're just going to wrap it around. If you want, you can glue it at the beginning and the end, but you don't need to glue it any other time. They are wired. Once I had the whole thing wrapped, obviously it looked a little too furry. Couldn't really see the circle, couldn't see the inside. So I gave it a really, really good trimming with some scissors. I just kept going until it looked the way that I wanted it to. If you like this type of video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I love sharing budget-friendly DIYs with you all year round. And yeah, so subscribe if you are new. And there is my wreath all finished. I made a little bow out of this ribbon that I think I got from Dollar General for $1. It's a really good quality ribbon, but it was only $1. We're just going to hot glue that on top of the wreath, and then we're going to glue the wreath onto the sled, and I'm just going to secure that at the top and bottom of it, and then attach the twine back into it just for looks. Although you could hang this, you could use this as an ornament, you could hang it on a little hook, or you could just lean it like I'm going to for some decor. For this next one, I have this little white bucket that came in a 2-pack. I think it's in the wedding section at Dollar Tree. And then this bag of white pom-poms. They also sell the combination like red, white, and green at Dollar Tree as well. And then I have some ribbon. So I'm going to start by just wrapping that around. That actually took me a little longer. I spared you some of that just because the bucket narrows at the bottom. So the ribbon, if you don't attach it right, it just kind of bows, but you can figure it out. I did. And then I have these little chalkboard signs from Dollar Tree. I'm just taking off the clothespin off the back of it, which was took a little bit of effort, but it did work. And then we're going to use the chalk marker from the Dollar Tree to write on our sign. And at first it didn't work. It was too big and bulky like the writing was. So I just kind of took the marker, and what I have laying down here, the buffalo check, is just wrapping paper for my surface, my crafting surface, and I'm just kind of twirling it as I'm putting a little pressure on it to kind of point and make it a little bit more pointy, just so that I could write a little bit easier. Now I did another little thing with this bucket. With the other one, I made a little ornament. I'll see if I can find that video and link that for you. This one I'm not doing as an ornament, but you certainly could, but I'm just going to use this as a little tier tray decor. And now I'm taking a little piece of that garland again, trimming it up, cutting it in half, and we're just going to use that to embellish the front. We're going to hot glue those on. And then I have this little silver piece, which is from the decorative filler that I've used in other DIYs. It's from the Dollar Tree. It's not actually a Christmas item, although it kind of looks it to me. And I'm just kind of chopping off the back of it so that this will lay flat more like a button, and hot glue that into the center of the garland ties. I'm just taking a little bit of tissue paper. I'm going to hot glue that and just kind of shove that in the bottom, just so I don't have to use all cotton balls, or pom-poms rather. You could use little cotton balls, but I think cotton balls might be a little too big for this. But that would work if you couldn't find the white pom-poms. So I'm just kind of piling in some hot glue and then dumping in some cotton balls, and I do that a couple times until I just have them nice and piled. And then I'm taking our little snowball sign. and I'm going to hot glue that onto just a little piece of wooden skewer that I have. Just to really secure it, I'm going to take a popsicle stick and hot glue that across the back. I do end up Mod Podging the front too, just because I don't want the snowballs writing to come off at all, but I don't really share that with you. I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue at the bottom and tuck that in the back of our little bucket, and I thought this was super cute. Once again, you could hang something from the handle and use this as an ornament if you wanted as well. For this project, we're using an unusual item. This wood snake comes from the Dollar Tree. You might find it in your crafters square area or in the kids' toy section. It could be painted. Well, we are going to paint it, but we're also going to cut it down. So I'm just using this little cutting tool from the Dollar Tree. It does cut pretty easily. It just has like plastic pieces in there connecting each segment. So we're going to cut off the tail, and then I'm just making sure that it is long enough to connect into a circle, and then we're going to cut off what's needed at the head of the snake. So this is not going to look like a snake for Christmas in the end here. I'm going to use some Gorilla Wood glue and a little bit of hot glue to attach this together. The hot glue is more for the immediate hold, and I did take some clamps and really push those two ends together to make sure that it got a really good strong hold, because I don't want this coming apart. Once that glue has had a chance to dry, we're going to paint this green. We're making a little wreath, in case you didn't guess that. I'm using Fern by Waverly, and this had previously been mixed, I think, with baking soda for another project, and I had some of it left over, and so I just decided to use that because we don't want to waste any paint. And I'm using that clip again just to kind of hold this piece, and we're going to paint all of the edges, inside, outside. I didn't really try to like go deep into the crevices, but paint did get in there. But I didn't want it to clump up in between each of the segments. But we're going to give this a good coat. It really only took one coat. And here I am just using a scrap of something laying around to just get any clumps of paint out from in between the segments. And then let that dry. Once it was dry, I did go ahead and paint the other side where the clip was at, but I don't show that to you. So we're just going to stand that up and let it dry. This clip worked great for that. But here it is, all painted up, fully dry, and I've got these red glitter balls. These are from the Dollar Tree, but you can use anything you want to embellish our little wreath. And so I'm just going to hot glue these all around. They are really small, and so just be careful if you do something like this to not get hot glue on your fingers. You could use a pair of tweezers to hold them. That would be a very smart move, a smart thing to do. I like to live on the edge when I'm crafting. So we're just going to glue these kind of scattered to look like little berries across our wreath. And then I need a piece of twine. And once again, living on the edge, I like to burn off all of the fuzzies, and just be careful you don't burn yourself. If you're nervous about it, just do it over a sink. Then you can just drop it down in there if the flame carries. And I did use a little bit of hot glue to help the twine lay flat on the wreath, just to make sure that it hung really nicely. And then I'm going to make a little simple bow. I'm just crisscrossing it. And with ribbon like this, I like to just tie something thinner in between. So I'm just going to take a piece of twine. Rather than tying the bow on itself, it gets a little bit bulky in the center, especially when you're doing a smaller bow. So we're going to just trim that down and then embellish our little wreath hanger, not hanger, wreath ornament. This is an ornament we're making. But you can also use Dollar Tree sells some bows. You can do whatever you want on this, but we're using a wooden snake to make a wreath, and I thought this was really cute, and you definitely can't tell that that's what that was. All right, up next I have this large white ornament and this snowman hat. These are both from the Dollar Tree. You could definitely find them in different stores, something similar. Just changing out the blade on my little cutting tool here, which I believe is from the Dollar Tree. Most of my little tools are. And we're going to cut out a hole in the bottom of this snowman hat ornament. And now I started out small. I didn't want to go too big and regret that. So we're going to take off the little tag, and I just wanted to fit this on, see what I needed to do. So I realized I needed to make it bigger, but we're going to take the metal piece, like hanging piece, off of the ball ornament, and then we just needed a hole big enough to fit over that. That did cause the burlap at the bottom of this hat to come off, so I just hot glued that. And you saw I picked out some styrofoam from inside this hat, poured in some hot glue, and then nestled that right on to our ornament. And we have a cute little snowman. I love this one. Now this is definitely a larger ornament. We're going to be using the bottom of a paintbrush to do the dots, and I messed up, but just get a wet paper towel and wipe it off real quick. Um, I'm just going to make the, well, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth with just using the end of a paintbrush. And yeah, I think I do touch it up with an actual little paintbrush as well. Like I said, this ornament is a little bit bigger. I've got a couple bigger ones, and some people like that, some people don't. Probably depends on the size of your tree, but you could definitely, if you found a smaller hat and a smaller ornament, you could do the same thing in a different size as well. So I'm just smoothing out the circles of the eyes just to make it look a little bit cleaner. And then I'm using, this is just a little dotting tool from the Dollar Tree. I felt like I have a little bit more control over this than using a small paintbrush, but whatever you want to do, or a paint marker, and I'm just drawing on a little carrot nose. And this actually works pretty good. You can't like do like long strokes with it, like brush strokes, but it did give me like a lot of good control. And then I did want to go in and just put a little bit of life in the snowman's eyes. The plain black circles were looking a little bit dark. So I added a little white dot in there to just brighten up our cute little snowman. Oh my goodness, I love him. All right, moving on. This is a terrarium planter. I got this. That is from just the normal everyday like plant decor spot in the Dollar Tree. And then I have one of these wood-shaped snowmen from the Dollar Tree. They carry these every year in different shapes. I think so does like Hobby Lobby and probably most craft stores. So that little terrarium is a pretty good size. So once again, this is a larger ornament, but you could also just use it on a like one of those ornament hooks, like freestanding ones. I don't know what they're called. Maybe that's what it's called. That you would just hang from there by itself, or just use it on a shelf. But we're going to just use a small paintbrush, paint up our snowman. You know what a snowman looks like. And just use a really small fine tip paintbrush. It's very handy to have these in your craft stash. You do not have to be an excellent painter or someone who's super detailed in order to actually make it look good and cute. You just need the right tools. So once again, I'm using this dotting tool from the Dollar Tree, and we're using this for the tiny, tiny details here. And I'm not going to go crazy with it. I'm just doing a couple of buttons down the center of our snowman, and we're going to do a couple of we're going to do the mouth too. So I did do the eyes, the nose, and then we'll do a carrot nose as well. So get yourself these, like this tool, I don't know what it's made for. This was at the Dollar Tree, but I'm not using it for what it's made for. I'm using it, see how cute that looked? Oh my goodness. I just used it for whatever. I just saw it and thought this would be handy to have. All right, so now I've got these Christmas trees. These are from the Dollar Tree, but once again, you can get them from lots of stores. And we're going to make ourselves a cute little Christmas scene in here. So I'm grabbing some different trees, and we're just going to, situate them to look just right before we start attaching everything in there. And I decided that I needed a little bit of height, so I'm just cutting up scrap pieces of a popsicle stick, little ones to fit underneath. I think I'm doing this for the snowman. And we're just going to use some hot glue to build ourselves a little stand, just to elevate it to the height that just made everything look good. So yeah, we're just going to do that, and that you can't even see it, especially once we're all done, but it just gave it a little bit more height compared to the trees. I didn't want it to get lost because we're going to add in a little bit of snow, and so it'll cover that up completely. And I see I needed another layer. I just didn't want the whole bottom of the snowman to get covered when I added in the snow. So now I'm going to start putting it all together. Just hot glue is good enough. You can use something stronger if you want, but this is just fine here. I've had this for a while, and it's, nothing's come loose. So we're going to glue in our two trees and a little snowman. You could also use little figurines. Dollar Tree has those little like Christmas village figurines. You could make an adorable scenery with some of those as well. So definitely lots of room for creativity in here. So I'm just putting in some hot glue and pouring in some snow. Mod Podge would work too, but I think I wanted extra hot glue around the base of the tree and the snowman just to help them stay a little bit better as well. So that's how I'm doing this, but you could paint in some Mod Podge. I'm not doing a ton of snow because this isn't going to be a closed item. Oh, maybe I do. And what am I doing? Okay, craft, this is like a tacky glue. And that's right. I am going to go in. I decided, suddenly realized that, I'm sorry, I forgot that the hot glue was not the easiest method here. So we're not doing a ton of snow. I'm just shaking it around to cover any areas that are wet. We don't want a lot of extra in here because otherwise this isn't going to be fully closed up, and um, I don't want snow falling out. I did pour out some of that glue into a dish here because I knew that as I put my paintbrush in and out, it was going to have snow pieces in it, and I was going to have to throw out whatever glue was left over. So just a little, I don't know, reminder thought for you. And you can decide if you want to go all the way up, if you want to just do the bottom. You could put a little bit of glue on the trees if you want. Wherever there's a glue, the snow is going to stick, and probably anywhere else because we all know faux snow, glitter, it's a little bit of a nightmare when crafting, but sometimes when it comes to Christmas, you just got to go for the pieces that are a little bit messy, but they really do enhance the items. We're going to use these snowflake glitter stickers, and I'm going to put them, a large one here to cover up this hole, and then I'm going to put them all around to just make a little wintry scene. You can skip that if you want. Obviously, you can skip any bit of this that you want to. You don't have to do any of this. And then we're going to just attach a little hanger on here. And once again, you can hang this on a tree. You can hang this on an ornament stand. I think that's what it's called, is an ornament stand. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Or you could just set it, as a flat bottom. So you could also just set this on a shelf or something. Now I have these all displayed on a very skinny tree, so they look ridiculously big, but they are definitely larger ornaments. But I love how these ones came out. Let me know what you think. For this next one, this ceramic piece is from the Dollar Tree. It is not actually listed as like a Christmas item. They have them in different shapes, but I thought it would be a great ornament. Now it is heavy because it is a ceramic piece, but just put it, further back into your tree. We're going to take off the hanger here and then give this a well, we're going to cover it with this beautiful tissue paper, which is from the Dollar Tree. I love this. I've used it in lots of Christmas DIYs. And we're going to Mod Podge this on. So I'm just doing a little section at a time and just smoothing it out, making sure it's not too awfully wrinkled. I'm not sure whether or not the iron-on method would work well with this piece because I don't know if the heat would crack the ceramic. But, and I didn't have to paint the ceramic piece because it was just already white, so the, tissue paper really stuck out. But wasn't too bad. I don't think it was wrinkly at all. I just took my time, and it's a small piece. And then as you can see here, I did put Mod Podge around the edges because I wanted that pattern to come along the sides of the ornament as well. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just gently folding it down or folding it over the edge just to make sure that it was like a complete, I don't know, I just thought it would look better that way. So I am just setting on top of a paint bottle and then gently pressing that down, and we're going to let that fully dry. Once that was dry down, I put another coat of Mod Podge on top. I did like to the first under layer dry first because I feel like if I put more Mod Podge on top, it was more likely to wrinkle and more likely to move around. So once the top coat was dry, I trimmed it very carefully with these small precision scissors, and that worked perfectly. You could also lightly, very carefully sand it if you needed to, but these scissors really did the trick here. I decided that I wanted to put something around the edge. I don't know, just an added detail. So once again, I'm using my lighter to burn off the fuzzies on my twine, and once that's done, we're going to you don't have to do that. That's an optional. If you don't mind the fuzzies, I like them burnt off, but I also like the look of the twine when it's a little bit burnt. But anyways, we're just going to use a little bit of hot glue, and we're going to go around the outside of this ceramic piece, just a little bit at a time because it will dry pretty quickly because the ceramic is cool. So I just did a little bit at a time so that the hot glue, wouldn't dry on me. And then I just used some scissors to poke back through the holes and reattach the twine that was already on there, but you can use ribbon or use something else, but I'm just reusing and attaching it exactly the way that it came. I did put a little dab of hot glue in the knot there to make sure that wasn't going to come loose because like I said, it's heavy and I don't want this falling off my tree and breaking. And then I'm just going into my pile of scraps, my Christmas scraps of little floral pieces, and we're just going to add a little bit of embellishment. So I have some greenery pieces with some little glitter balls on them. These has a little bit of glitter, not too bad. If you have glittery stuff for Christmas and you are afraid of glitter getting everywhere, you can spray it with hairspray and that will help set in the glitter. That really helps a lot. And then just some more red berries to finish it off and hot glue that on there. And that is going to do it for this ornament. I really love that pretty tissue paper from the Dollar Tree. Let me know what you think. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. I love sharing budget-friendly DIYs here on this channel. Lots of budget-friendly home decor. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you the next one. Bye, guys.